stupid questions.
All right, welcome to episode 2, Multicam Advanced in Premiere Pro CC. And really, we're just talking mostly about the audio issues that you can run into when you're working with multicam. So hopefully you've watched the first episode with just an intro and how to get this going. I'm assuming you already know how to make multicam clips and bring them in and all of that. This is more about the mechanisms behind how we create them and how you can change them and how you can set things up correctly. Let's go have a look. First of all, I'm working with 4 video tracks here. And if we look at this, there's camera 1, there's camera 2, camera 3, and camera 4. And each one of these has 4 channels of audio.
Camera 1.
Channel 1. Channel 2. Channel 3. Channel 4.
So if you're just dealing with mono or stereo, no problem. It's just part of these. Or if you've got a larger multi-track audio within your clip, then all of this applies. We're going to create that. So just like before, I could either select all of these or I could select the folder, right-click, and create a new multicam source sequence, as I showed in the intro to multicam. And here's a few things that we're really going to talk about that can cause a problem. First of all, is this one down here. I'll be the first one to admit that I thought this setting was the setting for the tracks in the source sequence. It's not. It's the multi-channel master, it's the master output of that source sequence. Wait a minute, what does that mean? Well, when you create any sequence in Premiere Pro, you have a master track. And if it's stereo, which is typical, that means if you put something on the left track, it goes out to the left, and on the right or in the middle to both. And you can also have mono, and you can have a multi-channel mono. So you could have 4 mono tracks as the output. You could also have 5.1 or adaptive. And adaptive, you can basically think of that as a multi-channel output too. So these do not affect the tracks where the audio is in. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is, if you're going in here and you click on presets, if you choose a preset that doesn't accommodate the camera switching, so if I choose switch audio and then choose one of these presets, if the preset you choose doesn't have adaptive audio tracks and you choose switch audio, it will just flip it for you. It'll automatically, if you're going to do switch audio, the tracks inside have to be, the individual tracks have to be adaptive, and then it will create a multi-channel out. So in this case, it will create multi-channel audio and then a master that's 4 channels. Okay, let's go look at each one of these. So I've already created them here. Here's the first one camera. Now, if I double click on it, it opens all of these here, but if I hold down the command key on the Mac, control on Windows, and double click, it opens over here. Or you can right click and choose open in timeline. And here we are in the timeline, and this is one camera, so you can see it's muted all these other tracks. Remember, each one of these cameras has 4 channels of audio. There's camera 1 with 4 channels of audio. Those are the only ones that are unmuted. That's what one camera does. So when you make this source sequence and you choose one camera, that's what you get. If you wonder why you can't hear anything else on the other tracks, it's because they're muted. Yes, you can come in here and unmute them after the fact. That's cool. But that just shows you what's going on. And if I open this up, you can see what it's, well, let me just open the top guys up in here so you can see. So if we play this.
Camera 4.
Channel 1. Channel 2.
So you can hear channel 1, channel 2. I can't hear channel 3 and channel 4. It's because I've got stereo headphones in here. If I had an audio interface with multi-channels out and it was mapped to multiple audio file or speakers out, I would be able to hear that. The place to look at this is over in the audio track mixer. And remember, this was created automatically for us. So if we look over here, audio 1 this is a stereo. Each one of these is a stereo track. Track 1 is panned to the left, and if I click in here, it's mapped to 1 and 2. So when it's mapped to 1 and 2, panned to the left, it goes out to 1. If it's the second one is mapped to 1 and 2 and panned to the right, it goes out to 2. This one is 3 and 4, and this one is also 3 and 4 left and right. If we look down in here, let me go back to the beginning and play this
Camera
back.
4.
Channel
Watch
1.
our meters over here.
Channel 2.
Channel 3 and channel 4. And if you want, if you right click inside the meters, you can switch these to mono channels, because really that's what we're talking about here,
Camera
mono
4.
channels.
Channel 1. Channel 2.
Channel 3, channel 4. So let's go look at all cameras. And watch this.
Camera 4.
Channel 1. Channel 2.
And again, we're going
Camera
out to 3
4.
and 4.
Channel 1.
And you can see that we've got 16 tracks in here because each camera has its own track. And each camera has 4 channels of audio. So 4 times 4 times 4, 4 times 4 is 16 out. This was made for us automatically. Remember, this is the output that will go into the master multicam sequence. This isn't the final. This is the source sequence that's going out to the master. So this will actually spit out 16 into the source, the master sequence. Okay.
Camera 4.
And you can see over
Channel
here,
1.
there's our 16 sequences in here, and we've mapped these. Again, let me just hit the tilde key, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. So you can see they're mapped all the way out to 16 on each one of these. So if I click in 15 and 16, you can see it's just mapped to 15 and 16 automatically. Now let's go look at the switch audio. And you can see we have adaptive tracks in here. So this is one track that's adaptive that has all 4 channels in it.
Camera 4.
Channel 1. Channel 2.
Channel 3 and channel 4, of course, over here are going out again to 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if we go up here and look, and we click, each one of these is output to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we now create a sequence, and if we go and look at our source sequence and switch cameras now,
Camera 1.
Channel 1.
so that's camera 1. I also have the option in here to have the multi-camera audio follow the video. And the other good thing you can do here is normally this is turned off, show audio names. You see the video name, you don't see the audio names inside here. So to help you understand what's going on, you can turn on the audio names. And you can see right now, multi-camera 1, and if I click on 2, you can see 2, it didn't follow that. So if I turn on multi-camera audio follows video, now when I do this, I'm just tapping the 1 to 4 keys up in the top. You can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can hear it.
Camera 1.
That's
Channel 1.
Hit number 2,
Camera 2.
camera 3,
Camera 3.
camera 4.
Camera 4.
So that's when you want to switch to a camera and have the audio from that camera. If you don't have it set up this way, you're going to run into problems. Remember, each one of these audio tracks, each one of the cameras has 4-channel audio. So when I'm switching to it, it's coming from an adaptive track and an adaptive out, a multi-channel out, remember. there's our 4-channel out. So I've got 4 channels of the source track, 4 channels mapped out of the source sequence, and then an adaptive track in the master multicam sequence that has 4 in it. Whew. I know, it can be a little bit daunting in here, but you can see how that works. All right, let me just show you where something would not work. So this is switching when it's wrong. Watch this.
Camera 4.
Camera 4. Even though this says camera 1 here,
Camera 4.
and if I go back,
Camera 4.
it's not switching.
Camera 4.
And that's because this sequence that I made it out of was a camera 1 sequence. And you can see that those are muted down there. So that is wrong. But if we bring in our switch audio sequence, that was the one that was created, switch audio. And now we click on it, go to camera 1. You can even see the waveforms are changing themselves.
Camera 1.
There's camera 1.
Camera 2.
There's camera 2.
Camera 3. Camera 4.
So it's important the way you create your source sequences. It's also important the way you create your master sequence and how it accepts this. You can create the master sequences automatically. So you can take your source sequence and right click and just choose create new clip, new sequence from clip, and it will make that for you, but you might run into problems when you do that. Now let me show you another instance here, and I'm going to make some room here, so I'm just going to delete some tracks and get rid of tracks here. Let me go to, remember this is for my camera switching. Let me create a new multicam source sequence. Actually, I already did, and for this one I chose adaptive, and that's this one right here, camera adaptive. By the way, there's 2 easy ways to see and change how this was created. If I right click on here and choose modify audio channels, you can see that this says adaptive right now, and I could change this to mono if I wanted to, and we could change how that format is output. So I don't want to do that right now. I want to leave that in here. Remember, this is adaptive. So if I drag this in here, you can see down at the bottom, it's creating a new track for me, because the tracks that are in here already are standard tracks, not adaptive. So now when I twirl this down, you can see, oh, how come I only have two channels in here? All right, you told me that an adaptive track can accept as many tracks as we have in the source sequence. Yes, as long as the master has the same amount. So when you create this automatically, this is 4-channel, we'll make a 4-channel master multi-channel. But look at this one. This is the one that I created from 1 camera, and it's 2. So if I change it to 4, and we look at this, you can see now it's updated. Now it's 4 channels inside here. So it's just really important. It's this chain of outputs and mapping that you have to get correct. And this is something that you should be testing and setting and you know, writing in stone before you go willy-nilly and you've got a timeline. How many cameras, how many audio channels do I want to use the audio from 1 camera, all the cameras, or do I want to switch between that and then set your source sequences up correctly? The other thing that some people are telling people is that if you select the audio tracks alone, let me just see if I can replicate this here. If you right click and choose multi-camera enable, after the fact, some people are telling other people, and tech support sometimes says, oh, that's the way to enable it if you didn't do it correctly. Wrong. This is only going to cause problems. This does not work that way. So don't do it that way. Make sure you're creating your correct source sequences and your correct master sequences. All right, let's go look at all cameras. So remember, these are the sequences that we made automatically. Look at all cameras. All of these And now we'll hear all of them.
Camera 4.
Channel 1.
That's all this
Camera 4.
every single track is unmuted and playing live this is in the multicam sequence now. So now when I go to a different camera, it's still going to play
Camera 4.
all the cameras because they're all live. If that's what you want, great, you've done it. But if not, you chose something incorrectly. Let's go to the switch audio master. And you can see in my switch audio master,
Camera 4.
it's
Camera 1.
It's correctly setting
Camera
that
2.
up. And that again is because I went down here and chose multi-camera audio follows video. So that is the automatic source and the automatic master sequence creation. And I mean, I could go in here and create just any new sequence I want. For instance, I'm creating this one here. And when I bring in my cameras, let's do the switch audio into here. If you get this warning, this is only going to change the video settings, not the audio settings. This is not a way for you to fix everything. Oh yeah, actually this original tutorial footage was shot with a DV camera and I've got HD in here. Change the settings, please. So now I'm changed to HD, but the audio hasn't changed. I made a whole bunch of mono tracks, which again may be what you want, may not be what you want. All right, let's talk about track targeting in here and how this works. What I've got here is I have the exact same sequence in here twice. So that each one of these is a master source sequence. And I wanted to show you that track targeting, setting this up, is how you set up which one is switching. So right now, if I'm switching by 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm switching, see I'm selecting this one up here, but if I have nothing selected, I'm switching the bottom camera because V1 is selected. If I choose V2 with nothing selected here, I'm changing the top camera. So depending on how you want to work there, you could actually have multicam source sequences in multicam source sequences, or multiple multicam source sequences inside there to get that working. All right, so there you go. There's some advanced tips on working with multicam source sequence, multicam masters, creating them. It really is the audio that you've got to get right, and there really is no right and wrong on how the final result is. It depends on what job you're doing, whether you're switching a camera or you're just using, camera one or all cameras. And it's really up to you to do some research on how you want to work with that. And then hopefully all of your multicam editing will come out okay.
But I don't have to know what it is. I don't feel frightened by not knowing. It doesn't frighten me.